Advice is everywhere, but self-awareness is rare. And that difference changes everything, because most people don't struggle with a lack of advice. They struggle with understanding themselves. In the last episode, we talked about how two people can share the same problem, but not the same solution. But today, we're talking about why. Because advice can point you into a direction, but only self-awareness tells you if that direction is yours. That is why advice is so easy to give. Advice is cheap because it costs nothing to offer. People give advice based on their experience, and they give advice based on their personalities, their fears, even their successes. And some give advice based on their regrets. And often, advice is sincere, but sincere doesn't always mean it's suitable for you. Someone can care about you deeply and still suggest something that doesn't really fit your life. So let's take this scenario as an example. Imagine someone struggling with burnout at work. They talk to 3 different people, and one says, quit your job. The other says to you, stay and push it through. And the last person says, start something on the side. These are actually 3 pieces of advice, but 3 different solutions. None of them are wrong, but none of them are complete either. Because the missing piece is the person receiving the advice, which is you. So this is where I feel self-awareness enters. Self-awareness asks questions advice cannot answer. Like questions like, what actually drains me? What am I afraid of losing? What do I value most right now? Like, am I tired or am I just misaligned? Advice gives options, but self-awareness chooses. Why do people really avoid this self-awareness? So here's the uncomfortable truth. Advice is easier than self-awareness. Advice tells you what to do, but self-awareness asks you who you are. And that takes honesty, like real honesty. Not the version you show to people, but the version you admit to yourself. There were times in my life when I asked people for advice, when I already knew the answer. Not because I needed the direction, but because I wanted confirmation. When the advice didn't match what I felt inside, it makes me feel more confused. That's when I realized something. Advice doesn't replace self-awareness. It only works after self-awareness. So now think about a major life decisions like career changes, relationships, relocations, like financial risk. You can collect advice from 10 different people, but at the end of the day, you still have to live with the decisions and not with them. So that's why I believe self-awareness matters more than agreements. There are dangers of living by advice alone. When you rely only on people's advice, you second guess yourself, you delay your decisions, you look for validation constantly. You become dependent on external voices, and your own voice becomes quieter. And that's where people lose confidence. Not because they don't know what to do, but because they stop trusting themselves. Now, take a deep breath and ask yourself this. Think about the last big decision you made. Ask yourself, did I make that decision from self-awareness or from pressure? No judgments, just reflection, because I do that too. But do you know that self-awareness isn't dramatic? It's just quiet. It sounds like, this matters to me. This doesn't align with me. Like, am I ready now? It's simple, honest, and clear. And clarity beats advice every time. To me, self-awareness is priceless. Advice can be borrowed. Self-awareness must be built. It grows through reflections, through experience, through mistakes, listening to yourself honestly. That process takes time, believe me, but it makes your decisions easier. So here's the reflection for today or this week. Write down one decision you're currently thinking about. Then write, what do I actually want from it? What am I afraid of? What feels true to me? Don't ask anyone yet. Start with yourself. And this is my closing reflection. Advice can guide you, but self-awareness grounds you. And when you know yourself clearly, you don't really need as much as advice because you trust your direction. This is Michael Speaks. See you on my next episode.